and boom!
Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, begins a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello?
Brilliant! Out of hundreds of deals that I've done. Hundreds.
Welcome back to the spotlight, young man.
Rosa, you don't know nothing.
The Bears are who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
You know, sometimes when you practice, you'll set up chairs. You know, and you run through chairs just to show zones and stuff. The Viking defense looks like it's chairs.
He's a rube.
You stay classy, San Diego.
You're breaking up, Bob.
You're breaking up.
Cam Dantzler, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Boy, how disappointing is that?
The Blackhawks.
We're the state of hockey, and I think that proves it, so.
Case on a deep drop, steps up in the pocket. He'll fire to the right side, caught by Diggs. Stay up, it got loose. Oh my God! 30, no 10, touchdown! Are you kidding me? It's a Minneapolis miracle! Stephon Diggs and the Minnesota Vikings have walked up on the New Orleans Saints. It's a 61-yard Minneapolis miracle.
Boy, it seems like a long time ago.
I can't believe what I just saw, Paul Allen. What an unbelievable play. Yeah.
Okay, calm down. It's
too far removed.
He's the clown from Brown. He's the fourth in the North. This is the Common Man, Dan Cole.
I know you're thinking you weren't there. You wouldn't go to a Vikings game. You're right, I generally wouldn't, but faith, family, fairways, frequency, finances, friends. Well, I should put finances ahead of friends, sorry. I mean, all for one and one for all, you can not only go so far. Man in the silk suit hurries by, catches a poor old lady's eye, and just for fun, he says, get a job. Deuce wanted to go to the playoff game, Saints versus Vikings, so I was able to come up with 4 tickets, decent seats. You know, we were middle, not lower bowl, not upper bowl, I guess you'd call it middle bowl. I think we were, gosh, I don't even remember. And we weren't 50-yard line, but we weren't in the corner of the end zone either, so we had decent seats. It was me, Deuce, his good pal, Hone, the old man Hone and his boy. We all went to the game, the 4 of us. We took the neighbors to the game. Trent and Trenton. He has a twin brother named Ian, and they both go to school. I think Trenton's going to Iowa right now. Yeah. And anyway, we went to the game, and Deuce is right. Tenneby Had it been just Deuce and I, not the neighbors with us, I would have left early. I would have missed the Minneapolis Miracles. I would have said,
I always love that one.
this game's over. Let's beat the traffic. Because if you remember, it was, I don't know if it was a blizzard, but there was a pretty good snowfall on that night. And it was going to take some time to get home. But it was like, okay, guess we got to stay. And sure enough, there we were. And I watched it happen. And it was weird. The play happened so quickly. It was hard to see even really what happened, even from my vantage point, which was a pretty good seat. And the Saints guy just blew it, right? Isn't that how that went down? He just kind of...
Yeah, the safety... I still don't know what he was doing.
Yeah. He was doing a Cam Dantzler.
He wasn't playing the body, but he couldn't get to the ball. Yeah, Cam Dantzler, he was like a chair.
Yeah, he was Cam Dantzler. What are you doing? This wasn't Detroit. Well, no, for the Saints it would be. This isn't... These aren't the Falcons.
This isn't Charlotte.
Yeah, this isn't Charlotte. This is the playoffs. And so... yeah, and then it all came crashing down the next. The best part of that game was still when one of the most unlikable figures in football, Sean Payton, was mocking the Skol chant with, like minute to go. He looked back at the fans and he was doing the Skol thing like that because they thought he had the game wrapped up.
I literally thought about that moment Sunday because they were playing the Chiefs on Sunday. Mm-hmm. The game was tied, and they had a game-winning field goal as time expired. Before they kicked the field goal, Sean Payton was just yucking it up on the sidelines as if the game was already over.
Oh.
And I had a flashback to Minneapolis Miracle when he was mocking the Skol chant. I was like, man, I really hope they miss this kick just because he's getting too cocky over there.
But now he's got that Denver club, and how much credit he gets, I don't know. But he's got
deserves a lot of credit.
He's got that Denver club right where they need to be. Matter of fact, we're going to take a look at, before the program's over, you know me, Tenneby, why do we like List Radio? Because it's lazy radio, and we're lazy. List Radio, I love when they put out the power rankings. So we'll take a look at that as the afternoon progresses. We're here until 2. The legendary Mark Rosen will join us just before 1 o'clock. We'll get his thoughts on the Vikings and what transpired this past weekend at the bank, where the Vikings basically had a victory snap from the jaws of defeat, or was it defeat, whatever the case may be, when they drove down the field, took the lead, and then they gave up the 50, I think it was a 56-yard kickoff return to Duvernay, Pro Bowl kid, and that basically put him in field goal range. And I don't think Ben Johnson was yucking it up on the sideline, because with his kicker, I don't know if I trust that kid, but he made it, and that was the end of that. And I don't know. I'm almost, and this will probably be a relief for a lot of people. I feel like I've spent more time talking about J.J. McCarthy on the radio than anything else that we've talked about in maybe forever, because he's supposed to be the franchise quarterback. It hasn't worked so far. It's only 5 games, but it's just been so ugly, I guess, is the best way to put it, that you find yourself, or rolling your eyes, shrugging your shoulders, and shaking your head. Here's somebody that sent a text message to me that says, have we ever tried to listen to the radio call for the Saints on the Minneapolis Miracle? Would that kill a segment? Oh, you think it wouldn't? I wonder if we could find that anywhere, if that's impossible to find, because the calls of the games when you win are always great, right? maybe the best of all time is when Holy Cross beat the Gophers. We played that all the time. Those guys are screaming at the top of their lungs. Their voices are cracking. The one guy's starting to blubber. We play it all the time during. Matter of fact, at the very end of the show, don't we? Isn't that the guy that says, "And good night, Minnesota"? Isn't that the Holy Cross call?
That's Holy Cross. Yeah,
that's a Holy Cross game. So the wins are always fun to listen to, but the losses, the devastating loss. Well, my favorite, I don't know if it's my favorite PA call, but the no game, when the...
I've got it right here.
You do?
Yes. Well, it says it's 3 minutes long. Do we want to listen to all 3 minutes?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Yeah.
All right.
3rd and 10 from the Viking 39. Precious seconds left on the clock. The Vikings need a completion and an apparent field goal attempt. Here's Keenum, Dropping, looking, throwing near sideline, and it's caught by Stephon Diggs. He's going to take it inside the 15, 10, 5, touchdown on the final play of this game. Are you kidding me?
No.
He could have came up and just tackled him. He put his head down, and he didn't step out of bounds, Jim. They're going to review it, but he didn't step out of bounds.
61-yard touchdown strike to Stephon Diggs. Almost looked like the Saints defenders came up with an intent to intercept the pass. Instead, they couldn't get their hands on it. It fell right into the nose of Stephon Diggs.
The previous play.
He didn't step out of bounds. It looked like it, but he never stepped out. Marcus Williams he ducked his head. He ducked his head. That's ball game. Man, he just ducked his head. You didn't even have to duck it. Just come up and make the tackle.
That's all you have to do.
Just come up and make the tackle. He tries the kill shot. Wow.
Case Keenum with his hands outstretched, accepting the plaudits of these fans, as well he should. Marcus Williams
There's
coming
not
up,
enough devastation.
just totally whiffed.
He said this would be a much different call if PA was making this call.
Yeah, these guys seem to have a grip on reality, and they realize it's just a game. It's not the end of the world. Like our national treasure.
I mean, just wrap him up. All you got to do is just tackle him.
That's all you got to do.
No more time on the clock. Just come up and tackle him. He goes in for the kill shot. You can't allow anybody behind you. Just come up and tackle him.
Just tackle him. He would run for the kill shot.
Not at all.
Yeah, there's not enough devastation.
Stephon Diggs running it down.
Yeah, let's just
disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to be, I wanted it to be like Softy or Krusty, whatever he is. Well, that was a victory. He cried when he came out with PA after they won the Super Bowl. He came on the air with PA and he was blubbering.
PA was more devastated on a mediocre Vikings team not making the playoffs, and they were not advancing to the conference championship,
especially
on a miracle play.
On a miracle play, especially the way it went down. Yeah. Yeah, it was that. That's not enough disappointment. That's just not enough. I don't like that. Here's a text message that came in that says, "I left the miracle early. My buddy and I have seen this movie before, and we left. I followed him out a bit later. I crawled into the front of his truck while he brushed off his car. When Vox made the call, I jumped out and scared him half to death. Then I made snow angels in the parking lot. 65,000 people can say they saw it. Only I can say I was making snow angels." So he did miss it. He ducked out early. We had an emailer years ago tell us that I think it was his dad or his grandfather left the Twins game in the 9th inning of Game 7 of the 91 World Series.
You've got to be kidding me.
I don't even know if I believe that. But
how
maybe
do you leave
he
that
did.
game?
I don't know. I guess because you just had enough baseball for the day and it was okay with you. But yeah, that was the claim, and whether it happened or not, I'm not really sure. Let's go ahead and take our first break of the program. As I say, I want to get Rosen's thoughts on a number of things, including what happened at the bank this past weekend, where the Vikings fall to 4-6 with that loss to the Bears. So, correct? We don't have a keyword today?
No keyword,
Okay, no keyword today. We'll bring that back at a future date. We'll take a break, come back with more. It's the Common Man program right here on the Fan.
KFAN welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra, close to the edge, just by the river, down by the edge, round by the corner.
For two amazing shows at Target Center on December 28th at 3 p.m. and 7:30 p.m.
I'll be the roundabout.
Tickets are on sale now.
Oh, I was supposed to do another one. Sorry about that.
Get complete show details, including a link to buy tickets at KFAN.com. Keyword calendar.
Yeah. Couple 13-14 past. I'm the Common Man. He is Tenneby. One other person said they leaving sporting events early. He says, I left at the half of the Colts-Vikings comeback game.
Well, that one's understandable.
Why? Because he says there's a reason it was the greatest comeback in NFL history, because it was preceded by the worst half of football in NFL history, which it really was. Yeah, that would be one where I wouldn't blame anybody for leaving. I mean, that's just...
That one I get. 91 World Series Game 7, no.
Well, yeah, but if you're old, Tenneby, and you don't care that much, see, that's what we've talked about this before. If you really don't care, you just went to the game because you had tickets. There are people that just don't care.
Well, you have to care a little to go. You can't not care at all.
I don't hold it against anybody for leaving any sporting event at any time. None. It's just sports. If your whole life is just sports. But I
mostly agree with you. Yeah. I think the 91 World Series Game 7 is like the extreme.
It is. Well, it is the extreme, but I would still say if that's what you wanted to do, more power to it. Matter of fact,
I'm not saying you should be arrested or anything.
I respect him for it. That he just said it's just not that big of a deal. I know someone's going to win this game eventually, and they did. And, the winning run was, wasn't that Larkin?
Gene Larkin, yes.
With a sacrifice fly to left field. So, it's, I'd rather...
Technically a double.
Yeah, that's right. It went over the guy's head because they were playing the infield in. I would have rather... it would have been better to have a play at the plate and he was safe. But, you can't have everything. It was already the greatest Game 7 World Series history. Certainly the pitching performance, you can't have everything. So, I guess I understand. You have some breaking news for us?
Are you ready for another sports team in town?
Are you being serious? Who do we have?
Major League Volleyball is coming to Grand Casino Arena in St. Paul. Craig Leopold and a number of other investors have purchased a Major League Volleyball team that will play at Grand Casino Arena where the Minnesota Wild play. You can learn more at mlvminnesota.com. Name, logo, colors, etc. will be announced in 2026.
Okay. And when do they start next year? Is that when they start?
This is the very little amount of information I have on this.
That's all
to this
they have.
point.
Okay. We talk about oversaturation of sports and markets, but if you are a fan of volleyball, how successful will it be? I don't know. How many people will go? I would suppose a lot of the fans, I think, will be people that played volleyball or had children that played volleyball, right? And they got into the sport. Because I don't know. How about you? To me, it's like, it's okay. I'm not against it, but it just seems like there's so many.
It seems like a big arena for...
Yeah.
Maybe Major League Volleyball is more popular than I know of nationally. I think they do pretty well in terms of ratings and stuff when they're nationally televised. But are we filling up for Gopher Volleyball? Are we filling up that arena?
When I think when they were, and I don't know where they're ranked now, I still think we have a formidable volleyball team. I know was it Hugh McCutcheon? Didn't he have us ranked in the top 5 for several years in a row?
Yeah.
And I think then the crowds were probably pretty good. Well, if you remember when Deuce was in Nebraska, it was a volleyball game outdoors at Memorial Stadium. They had over 90,000 people attend a volleyball game. So now I think that was part of just the fun of, let's see if we can set an attendance record, right? I don't know how many of those people were really into volleyball. But, so film at 11. This one says there's something to be said about leaving events at the perfect moment. For example, Rosen leaves dinners right before the bill comes. This one says, I left halfway through Flop, Sweat, and Tears, and I heard Meat Sauce had the performance of a lifetime. So I heard. Here's one. I left the inning before Tenneby accidentally hit a beer league home run, missing a display of power not unlike that of an MLB home run champion. This one says, I left the Stevie Wonder concert about halfway through. He didn't even come on stage until 9 p.m. I've left concerts early.
Some are obnoxiously late.
Yeah, well, not even. It's not the lateness. It's just they just didn't do it. I've talked about how I left the McCartney concert over at XL Energy Center because I saw that same exact concert over at US Bank Stadium 2 years prior. So I just said that's enough for me. I'm going to head home. This text messenger says pro volleyball is very big outside of the United States. I had no idea. I like a good volleyball match. I mean, Deuce and I watched the other day when Nebraska was playing somebody. It was two highly ranked teams. We had it on. I mean, I wasn't like I was pacing back and forth and jumping up and down and cheering or anything like that, but I watched a little bit. I don't mind a little volleyball. Deuce has called a few volleyball games. He's got a hockey game tonight. Lakeville North playing hockey this evening. He's doing it on Game Time Minnesota, mn.com, I think is the website. So he's going to be doing that. But yeah, so I've watched. I don't know.
There's 8 other teams right now in the league, so the Minnesota franchise will become the 9th. It looks like they're set for 2027.
2027.
Atlanta Vibe, Columbus Fury, Dallas Pulse, Grand Rapids Rise, Indy Ignite, Omaha Supernovas, Orlando Valkyries, and San Diego Mojo.
The Mojo. Mr. Mojo's rising. Yeah, now it seems like, too, when these sports come up with leagues, they're not going with the Bears, the Lions, Jaguars. They're not doing the animal thing. They're taking the vibe. This one says Gopher volleyball apparently averages 4,800 in attendance. That's a decent sized crowd. This one says, I left the golf course early after realizing I was stuck behind Common. No, you couldn't have, because nobody plays faster than I do. We played at Prestwick this past Saturday morning. We were walking off 18, and the other group was still getting they hadn't got to 17. When we teed off on 18 tee box, they weren't even on 16 green yet. So, sorry, man. You wouldn't even know I'd finished playing golf at that point. So that's what we do. This one says, I left the course right before Tenneby fist pumped when he sunk his putt for a 10. I think a lot of people did on that one. This one says, I left the Grum before Rosen stole another sports take from Ben Lieber. Writing staff or the contributors are at their very best. This one says, I can't believe people are willing to travel to northern Minnesota to see professional volleyball. I agree. I mean, you go all the way to Grand Rapids, especially if there's going to be a team down here in Minneapolis. So we're going to have 2 teams? Because didn't you say Grand Rapids had a club?
Yes, that would be the Grand Rapids Rise. So
the Rise up in Grand Rapids, and then you've got, I guess we'll have a built-in rivalry, right?
Sure, that's kind of a border battle.
It's an in-state rivalry, so that should be kind of fun. I'm looking forward to that. Controversial Vikings news on the other side of the break. We'll take a look at that, and then we'll welcome Mark Rosen into the conversation just before 2 right here on The Fan.
KFAN and the Vikings are teaming up for Toys for Tots. Join us live at Shields in Eden Prairie on Tuesday, December 2nd from 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. for our annual broadcast presented by Unreal. Bring a toy, spread some joy, and if you're one of the first 50 donors each show, you'll score a sweet KFAN Unreal Winter Beanie. Details at KFAN.com/toys.
What's the name of the place again?
That would be Toys for Tots. We're doing it live at Shields in Eden Prairie.
What day would that be?
Tuesday, December 2nd.
All day, too, right?
At 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m.
Yeah, some from,
presented by Unreal.
Basically 6-7. Now it's 5:30, but basically 6. And then 6:37, basically 6-7. Yeah, because the power trip will have to be there early to set up. So 6-7. Okay, enough of 6-7. I had something happen to me last night that's never happened before. Or maybe it has, and I just wasn't aware of it. So
you prepped?
I had what I thought was a furnace emergency. My wife was washing dishes, and I was doing the crossword puzzle. Just another, average. It's a Monday night at 1314 Insane Lane. Deuce was gaming, doing dude, bro, dude, bro, dude. And Baby Brother Peter called us last night from and we talked last night. He's coming home for Thanksgiving. Guess what? He's coming home on Friday.
Oh.
He's coming home a little bit early. His last class, I think, is today or last test, and then he's just got clear sailing the rest of the week. He's flying into town. It'll be good to see him. But we're watching, all of a sudden we hear something clank. And my wife goes, what's that? And it sounded like it came from the garage. And I just spent time this weekend in the garage. I'm down. We're putting our house on the market this spring. So I'm trying to get rid of things. So I redid the garage and I'm getting rid of some stuff and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, go out there, don't see anything. My wife goes downstairs and all of a sudden she goes, oh my gosh. She calls me down there. The furnace, there's I don't understand it all, but the furnace, there's some where you have to replace a water filter on the furnace. Don't ask me to explain it. I don't know how it works. I don't know if it's the humidifier system or whatever it is. Well, I had changed the flap in there from the summer mode to the winter mode, and I must not have put the cover, the plastic cover that snaps into place in firmly enough, because the thing had come out and water was everywhere on the floor down there, and there's water everywhere, and it looks like it's coming out of all kinds of different places. So my wife says, maybe we ought to call a repair place and see if they'll come on. It costs extra money, and they charge you $300 after hours, right, just to come out and look at it, right? So I said, yeah, maybe we better. There might be a bigger. That might not be the only issue. I don't want the furnace to short circuit, start the house on fire, right? And remember, I'm not very good at any of these things. I can't do this, and I can't call Carl at 10:30 or 11 o'clock at night and have him come over and look at my furnace. That's my neighbor, Carl, who does all my handiwork for me. So I call the place and I get the answering service. And after they answered the phone, I said, you're not a real person, are you? And AI said, no, I'm not, but I can still help you.
I'm with you.
It's really hard to talk to what is basically an inanimate object, right? I just found it was so uncomfortable for me. I guess I'm going to have to get used to it because I think that is the way of the world, right? That they're not going to pay somebody $15 an hour to answer the phone in the middle of the night at an answering service. They're going to use artificial intelligence. And the voice was so sing-songy. And, it sounded realistic, obviously, but I could tell right away that it wasn't a real person. And they admitted it because I paused and I said, such a stupid question. I said, you're not a real person, are you? And AI said, no, I'm not, but I can still help you. So then I ordered the emergency service. Then I went back down and said, there's nothing wrong here. And I called them back. And it was the same person. They had a fake name. I think it was, I don't know. I think it was Kathy. They actually used a human name. And I said, I want to cancel. Okay, we can do that for you. I said, now when I cancel this, you're not going to charge me the trip money now, are you? No, you will not be charged the trip money as long as you've canceled. Thank you very much and have a great day. But it was just, have you had to deal with talking with an AI? And I knew it wasn't like an AI. It was more just a computerized version. But okay, there comes a point where I had one where I just kept getting like recycled through, right? Like if you want to do this, option 1. If you want to do this, option 2. And I would click option 5. And it would end up not turning out, and it would send me right back to the beginning every time. Right. And I just want to talk to a live person. That's all I want to do. I just want to talk to a human being. Yeah, but they and I guess I understand it because it must be less expensive. Well, I've heard to run AI, it costs a fortune because there's so much power put into it. Do you know what I'm saying? Sure. There's so much electricity being used. So I don't understand it all. But yeah, I was crestfallen because I felt like there's nothing you can do about it. If you want the service done, you have to talk to somebody that's not a real person. And so I had to do it. And I was glad I canceled because I don't want to talk to. Would you like an AI version of Tenabee for when I'm not able to join you on some days? I thought this was already a Tenabee, AI version of Tenabee. I guess we could try it. I mean, the morning show does like the meat sauce robot. Do they? That's pretty good. I guess we could try something like that, but I'm not. I'm just not. It was demoralizing for me, and I don't know why, but I just didn't. I didn't like it much at all. I have a question for you regarding the Vikings and the quarterback situation. We sort of talked a little bit about it, I think, the other day. Vikings are at Green Bay this week to take on, and I can't find anybody anywhere that's picking the Vikings.
No, nobody's going to. Yeah.
Every single website I go to where they poll their staff writers, it's all 100% picking Green Bay. There's nobody even going, I'll be a little bit different here. I'll go ahead and take the Vikings on this one. There's nobody doing that, and for good reason. This is sort of what if the Vikings were to get out to a 2-0 lead? Kind of a question, right? What if McCarthy's even, and I don't know if this is possible, but what if he's even worse at Curley than he was this past Sunday? Take away that last drive where he's overthrowing wide receivers against. Can he
get worse?
Do you go to Brosmer? I mean, can the coach actually say, I know this is our future. We don't want to shatter the kid's confidence, even if he has any. And it sounds like he does, even though he hasn't played very well. Do you go to Brosmer or you just say, no, we have to continue to force feed the kid because we've kind of hitched our wagon to this kid. I mean, we traded up to get him at number 10, went from 11 to 10, didn't go very far, but we traded up to get him. We let now I know Darnold was awful against the Rams this week, and there's the Darnold haters are just so excited about that. Still want to see Sam Darnold in a Viking uniform? Well, yeah, I guess I would. All quarterbacks are going to have poor games, right? Matt Stafford had a poor game.
Lamar Jackson, even though they won, Lamar Jackson didn't have a good game.
That's exactly right. Even Caleb Williams, who won, he had the same exact 16 for 32, exactly what McCarthy had.
He wasn't that. No, he had some bad drops on his side too, but
he was also saying they were both 16 for 32, but they did win. Can you do that? Can you go to Brosmer? And I mean, we've seen it happen before where quarterbacks. Didn't you bring up somebody? Or was it a listener that brought? Because we talked a little bit about it yesterday, where some team had their new franchise quarterback, and they actually pulled him for a few games and then put him back in.
The Carolina did that with Bryce Young last year.
Okay.
Now, in their situation, I don't know if that was the right idea, just because, the Carolina Panthers last year, other than Adam Thielen, the expectations of them making a big game were very, very low. So they were in rebuild mode, so I don't know why they pulled the trigger to try to get you the win quick, Andy Dalton on your side. But he did come back later in the year, played better towards the end of the year. This year, I would say he's been mediocre at best, but they have a winning record, and he did perform well in their last game. But regarding Brosmer, they are getting awfully close now to the point where the season's not going to matter, so why pull McCarthy? You're getting to the point where, you just play McCarthy because you want to get him as many reps as possible, right? You go to Brosmer if you think you can still salvage the season. And I guess at 4-6, you can still salvage the season, but you're not that far away now from that season becoming unsalvageable.
Right, yeah.
I mean, like I said, they got to go 6-1 the rest of the way. And even that might not get you in.
Alec Lewis writes for The Athletic.
But if they do want to get in, they got to be Green Bay, because you're going to get to the point now where you won't be able to pass Green Bay, you won't be able to pass Chicago, and
that's why I wonder if he. I guess if you're
doing it, you want to look at Brosmer.
Yeah, I guess if you're down 30-0, then it doesn't matter. But what if they're just the defense is keeping Green Bay at bay, pardon the pun, for the most part, but McCarthy's terrible.
You're down 16-3 in the third quarter.
And he does another 3-and-out where he overthrows Jefferson again, and Jefferson slams his helmet onto the equipment box. I mean, would the coach do that? If you'll remember, he was asked immediately following the game in the news conference, was there any thought of going to Brosmer? He goes, I'm not going to talk about that. I don't want to go there. He did not want to discuss that. And almost as if, and I don't know if that meant he might have been thinking about it, but didn't want to admit that he was thinking about it, or if almost that's a terrible question, because we're not going to go in another direction. We're going to keep with McCarthy. I don't know what it means.
Well, it's hard to know how they feel about Brosmer,
right?
Too. That's the other aspect. I mean, they did go and get Carson Wentz before the season began, so obviously they didn't think Brosmer could be the number 2 immediately. But if they think there's a long-term future in Brosmer, and if it's the old, we'd like to get a look at him, see what he can do.
This one says, are we forgetting the Vikings beat the Lions at Detroit and the Packers almost just lost to the Giants? What are we doing here? In other words, I think what this text messenger is saying, this season they're not out of it yet. Now, again, at 4-6, and the Bears
I didn't say they were out of it now. I'm just saying they're getting close to being out of it.
No.
Yeah.
I don't think he was.
Okay.
No, he wasn't. I don't think he was responding to you. I think he was just saying, I think he's suggesting you almost have to put Brosmer.
Oh, got it.
If you're still in the game against Green Bay, you're not this weekend, and Brosmer's McCarthy's playing poorly, that you have to go with him. Here's one that says, this coach could not handle Brosmer coming in and looking functional. He and his GM are so in love with McCarthy that they cannot even try what the 49ers did by giving a lot to draft Lance at 4th overall and admitting the last pick in the draft is their best option ahead of time. Garoppolo, who had been to the Super, I don't know, he's just, I don't understand what I think he's texting and it's something getting lost in the translation. I think he's saying that he doesn't think that because the GM and the head coach are tied to this guy and he's supposed to be your franchise quarterback.
Probably specifically the coach, even more so than the GM, right? He's been called the quarterback whisperer.
Right.
I'm guessing he had a pretty darn strong hand in whether they went and got McCarthy or not, right? Like, I don't think that's all crazy. Just here, I'm going to draft McCarthy, do with him. You know, he's getting a ton of input. That was probably KOC's guy. Well, other than Drake May, apparently. So that would be a hit to KOC's ego to the guy you handpicked, the guy that you're supposed to be quarterback whisperer for and develop. You didn't do it.
This one says, I don't get the coddling with Cousins and McCarthy. This regime is terrified of having a QB competition. I think this coach would rather see McCarthy struggle than Brosmer come in and have some success and then have a legitimate QB competition. I can't believe that this was a close competition last year between him and Darnold. We were told all offseason that McCarthy was ready and he was our guy, even though we flirted with, we flirted with all three options in Jones, Darnold, and Rodgers. And this one says, what happens when Brosmer looks just as bad or worse than McCarthy? Not if, when. I suppose that's possible. I mean, because if, with McCarthy, there's a track record of success on the high school and college level. Not so much with Brosmer. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure he was a good high school quarterback, probably won a lot of games, and I don't know how well he did at New Hampshire. He had a nice senior season with Minnesota. But yeah, I mean, I would just think.
Well, he had a really good year in New Hampshire. That's what got him in the transfer portal.
So he, I don't know if that translates. That he would be ready to step up into the.
The other aspect of this is you've regurgitated this line many times before from KOC. It's not the quarterback. What is it? It's not the quarterback that lets down the organization. It's the organization that lets down the quarterback. What's that phrase that KOC said that you used to quote all the time? Basically, like a young quarterback failing is.
Oh yeah, an organization
is just as much on the organization.
An organization fails a young quarterback more than a young quarterback fails the organization.
So by going to Brosmer in week 11 of year 2, but actual year 1 of him playing, you'd have to be pretty much dead set on, hey, this he's not the guy.
This one says, anybody that thinks this team was actually a big game contender has been drinking the purple Kool-Aid far too long. If they kept Darnold, they wouldn't have had money to make improvements that they did this season. So even if you had him, you wouldn't be getting close to a big game. Get over it, move on, and let JJ develop. Well, what if JJ doesn't develop? There are too many people that are acting like it's a sure thing he's going to develop, and you just got to give him time. Might be a game, might be the rest of the season, might be 3 seasons from now, but we don't know that. And also, that's wrong about the improvements we made, the money we spent. We've gotten very few contributions from the two. Now, the one guy in the interior of the defensive line has played well the last few weeks.
Yep.
Which one is that? Is that the
Javon Hargrave?
Yeah, he's played pretty well. He's starting to. The offensive, the center hasn't played at all because of concussions. The guard, I guess, has been okay. He's played.
Been all right, yeah.
He's been fine. But I don't know if he's been, Pro Bowl-esque. And the other defensive guy hasn't really done that much. So that's flawed. We didn't make any improvements in the interior of the offensive line or defense line. Not anything, I don't think, to a large degree, I don't think. And you got to pay for your quarterback. Let's say McCarthy does develop, and in 4 years you're going to have to give him a big deal, or are you going to let him go by the wayside and start over again? It's just... And then, one last thing I wanted to touch on was, speaking of Alec Lewis, he writes for The Athletic. He wrote today, can Vikings QB J.J. McCarthy eventually turn it around, a la Panthers QB Bryce Young? And I think you said it best as we were talking about Bryce Young a little earlier. Well, he hasn't really turned it around. He had a really great game last week.
Yep.
And he's had some okay games this season, 6-5, but he hasn't turned into any kind of Pro Bowl quarterback.
No.
I mean, I don't know. It's someone says Fries has been good. Yeah, he's been good. But has he been good to the amount of money they're paying him? I don't know. Let's take a break and come back. Mark Rosen joins us next here on the Common Man program on The Fan.